Money is not money that you just pick on the way and you say, Richard Bjarugaba, give me my money back. It doesn't work like that. And people in Uganda are not special. They should know that we are in a global community.
Okay.
Yeah. So the question specifically is that people should not look at a small saving, because how much money are you going to get? I was just asking the headmaster here. It is between 30, 40 million, about 90% of that money. But if you wanted to send your child, as Fiona is telling you, to a serious school here, not even abroad, all that money will be finished. So for me, what I do and what I want people to do, almost what we should force people to do. Because now, some of us who are in this thinking for the country, you should lead from the front. That's what we say in Rotary. For us in Rotary, and we are Rotary leaders, Fiona will tell you, we lead from the front. We don't accept to lead from the tail. So leading from the front means that people, when you enter an organization, like Fiona is in National Water, I'm your consultant in National Water. I do a lot of work for National Water. I tell the people in National Water, those good for the and so on. When the moment you enter an organization, you consider yourself as a person exiting this organization. The first day you are entering, count yourself to make an exit plan.
Yeah.
And for me, what I did when I was in Makerere, I've been there for 26 years, is that I considered Makerere as a stepping stone for me to get better things and better money and better. I didn't look. I just consider Makerere as a source of my income. I instead looked and considered Makerere as a springboard, as a premise. In law, that's what they use. As a premise from which I can get better pay. How to use the Makerere headed paper. How do I use this very heavy headed paper? If I'm moving, how can I write a very good proposal and be able to earn? How do I develop speaking skills? How do I, because people will say I'm from Makerere University.
Yeah.
So when you enter an organization, the question is, how can that organization help you to widen exactly your source of income? And for me, that's how I looked at it.
Okay.
So when I left, I don't even when I left. You can't ask me even when I left, because it is very difficult, because I was there, I was teaching, I was farming, I was also in the land, I was speaking, I was doing research everywhere in the world, in New York, Canada, everywhere. Why? Because I'm from Makerere. I was also fighting President Museveni in the boxing ring at the same time. Also noted that it is Fiona who talked about time. The little time I'm in Makerere. I'm not going to allow Jennifer Musi to earn 40 million per month. When I have 70 degrees, I'm earning 1.5. That one I refused in front of the president, just in his eyes like this. And I said, no, it cannot be. How many degrees does Jennifer Musi have?
Okay.
So then we said, also that time of Makerere should be paid.
All right.
But to cut the story short and answer your specific question, I don't know whether even now.
You answered it. I like that you said
I'm
a very firm, no, you don't know if you're retired, but you're going to work.
Yeah.
And you will keep working.
Because when you are there, do other things. When you are there, teach. When you are not teaching, do other things. Because I cannot say I'm retired, I'm not, for purposes of the record, I'm not a lecturer of Makerere University.
Okay.
I want it on record. I officially retired from Makerere in 2015. But even when I was there, I was doing my other 100 things. And when I left, the way these professors normally live, and I understand most of them die in 2 years. Yeah, because of boredom, he didn't know what to do. He gets this more money of NSSF. I even built for them a provident fund as well. It is called Makerere University Retirement Benefit Scheme, from 0 to 80 billion. I'm the one who built it.
Wow.
This one which is there. I built it. Then Tango Doi, whom you know, Tango Doi came and after me and continued the process. Then we fought these Nigerians and then the National Insurance Corporation. And the scheme is one of the best schemes after NSSF to put the record straight.
Okay, Professor, thank you so much for that breakdown. And I like that he was very, very clear. No. He started off by saying no. And this is something that NSSF is constantly sharing through all these financial literacy webinars, through Friends with Benefits, because the numbers and the statistics are so alarming that we have people who have saved for 30, 40 years. They receive the NSSF savings, and within 2 years, it's gone, because you're putting it into a house that will not bring anything back to you. You're buying a fancy car. You are starting a business, yet you have never been in business again, which is why it's so important to start early, start planning. When the money comes, you should have planned for it. And you don't just spend it all.
Something there, that's more crystal.
Yes.
When they normally get it from NSSF, it shocks them. People don't, NSSF, stop shocking people. Stop shocking people, and you are going to kill our people. Because somebody has never got on his account. That's listen. So a person has never got 1 million on his account, and it is there for 4 days. Now we have 50 million of Mr. Edmaster. You are going to kill people. So that's why they go to consumerism.
And they just spend.
Consumerism.
Okay, to our next question. Over to you, Fiona. Someone was asking, what is one of the best ways of saving for a business as a low-income earner? I'd like to share a little bit of my experience before you answer that. I got into an investment club, joined an investment club with a group of ladies, and it's had its ups and downs. I'm going to be very honest. We bought some land, lost it, but then we also bought other land. So we have land, and as individuals, we probably would not have been able to buy these 3 plots. Yes, so that was one of the things that really actually helped us get money together so that we're able to, invest. But in answer to this question, and from your experience being a DJ and all these different things, what's one of the best ways to start saving for a business?
I think, first of all, you need a few principles.
Okay.
One is have a plan. Professor talked about the moment you get a job, have an exit plan. Because when you get a job these days, it's contract. It's 3 years. So what is your money going to do for you in those 3 years? And I think you need to start thinking with, if I was to get fired today, have I put away enough to do something, or have I started something else that can sustain me? The second thing is what you're saying. You cannot, as a low-income earner, you are not going to be able to wake up and start a huge business. Start like Professor. Do that half sack. I have a friend who works in a restaurant. He started figuring out, he looked at how much they were paying for tomatoes and green pepper. He said, what? Let me go and be supplying other hotels with it, because there's business here. So he started supplying. Recently, he told me he wants to leave his cushy job because this business has become so lucrative. He has gotten orders that he's going to have to sit at the farm full time in order for him to. And it's making him so much wealthier. So sometimes those things that you start small, start small, pilot it. I always tell people, pilot it. Don't get all your savings and, the first time we did rice, we only invested, we had, my husband's family had a lot of land, but we didn't have the money to develop all of it. So we just started, our neighbors were starting with 500 acres. What for us, we just had 30 acres. And it took 30 acres to invest and put in 11 million to put, and I'm saying 11 million was what we spent the 3 months that we put that Narika rice, and we did it and did everything and harvested it up to the truck, 11 million. But you do not want to know how much we got out of it. We also got shocked like NSSF, But it's very important for you to realize that it's good to start small. We didn't quite start small. We actually took a loan to do that. We were a very young couple. But one of the things I would say is, he said something in Runyankore or Chiga about avoid loans. I've had bad experiences with those.
Debt.
Do not. I know that most investors like Patrick will tell you other people's money, use it for investments. But that is when you've grown a certain
level
of expertise, where a professor can look at this thing and say, tomatoes, you'll break even in 2 months. If you do not have that level of expertise and experience, and then start small. but also join hands with other people. I have friends who have farms, and some of them tell me, Fiona, you need to go into animals. I'm like, I do not know. I love animals. I love cows. They look pretty, but I do not know what goes into cows. So I and my husband used to go to people's farms and just sit and watch what they go through, the dipping, the what. After going through everything, we were planning to start a cattle ranch.
You are like, no, not for us.
Said, this is not for us right now. Because the
This is
person
not our
whose
calling.
farm we're going to in Kafu is a retired gentleman who has, first of all, he raised cattle all his life as a child.
he
He knows
knows.
cattle
He
the
knows,
way Professor knows tomatoes. So when he sits on Saturday and counts money as cows are being sold, you do not know, because he has already committed the cost. There's a huge cost that goes into that final product. So before you envy someone, before you say, let me do what Apollo is doing, let me go and be a talk show host like Crystal, and charge. The first time they ask you to be an MC, you say 5 million because you think you're like Crystal. But it's not going to be like that, because you're not going to prepare the way she does. So count the cost. Do the math.
And
If you're
start
going to build a
small.
house,
Let's start small.
get an architect. Let them tell you the costs. Get an accountant to tell you that, by the way, if you build a house of 200 million, it's going to take you this many years to get back your return. And also, if Stanbic tells you they're going to lend you 200 million and it's a mortgage, do not just take it, because it's protected by the house. Every month you have to make payments.
Thank
So
you.
have the income.
Exactly, to run it.
And it's going to take you 2 years to build the house.
I thank you. I love that. They'll say, oh, we want to give you money. We want to give you money.
Sign
You
here,
are not
sign
giving me money. I am paying you for this
I
money.
always tell people, you don't want to use lawyers. Let me do this, Kalongo Apollo, also me.
Sign here, sign here.
Yes. Sign here, sign there.
Sign here.
Before Stanbic, or sorry for saying Stanbic, sorry, other banks,
Any bank.
Any
any
bank.
bank or any money lender comes to you. They come to you with a standard form contract. Thousands of lawyers from their head offices, they invest. If you see how much money leaves Africa, about 80% of legal fees in Africa go to foreign companies, because they've mastered that it's companies like banks that spend the most on legal. Do you know why? Because by the time he casually gives this thing and says, interest, I'm reducing from 20 for national water staff to 18. Please put in. The moment you sign, you are caught. So if this bank has spent 7 years using thousands of lawyers of the highest category to come up with this document, what makes you think that you, with your 1 degree, you are going to sign this loan?
Your 5
and
years
then
of work
manage?
experience.
Yeah, and then when your worst case scenario happens and you're going to manage, you will not. We have people now that are told Forex loans are now 4%, in the US. So he goes to the US, borrows money, thinks he's going to make a killing, comes and builds. But remember, you borrowed in dollars.
You are
And
borrowed
you
in
pay
dollars.
back in dollars.
Absolutely.
Then you start saying, my house is $1,000, It's not furnished.
Who is going
And who's
to
paying you that?
Who's going to-
Where other people are paying 500,000. So we need to count.
It is in
the cost.
Ukungu.
Yes.
And then the other day, I and the lawyers were saying we do not want to parent in dollars. What are you going to do in such an economy?
Okay, so we have to wrap up. Thank you so much for that, Fiona. You said, start small, and I think that is something we need to talk about. Not everyone is going to start
Count the
big.
cost.
I remember the story of a very, very successful businesswoman in the UK, and she started out by making samosas in her kitchen. That's how she started. And 20 years later, she had a catering company. She has food in all kinds of supermarkets, chains, and she's massive. She's a millionaire many times over in pounds, not shillings. So start small and, find what works for you.
And be
And
consistent.
be consistent. And then I like that you talked about loans. That's also important, because we may talk about banks, but a lot of people also go to loan sharks. And I think nearly every one of us knows someone who's had a bad experience with loan sharks. So we have to wrap up. And one last question, just I'm sure a lot of people really want to know. So if I can ask both you, Fiona and Professor, to answer really quickly about any mentorship opportunities that are available for them to hear from you or contact you, or if there's anything you're doing as we wrap up this discussion. So, Professor, if you could just tell us.
Ladies first.
Okay, ladies first.
So I have a lot of mentorship programs I'm involved in, so I'm available for mentorship. There's something I'm starting, and it's called the Fidelis Leadership Institute. It's something that I think a group of us are getting together to start to mentor people in all these other many things that we're doing. So I'm available for mentorship. As I mentor, I learn so much. And I've also been greatly mentored, and today I have gotten Professor is my newest mentor. And another thing I'll say is join Rotary.
Sure.
Join organizations that are going to bring you into places, spaces. My club has, governors of Bank of Uganda, so I can call somebody, and say hello, how are you? Where would I find that relationship?
Okay.
So grow your social capital intentionally and find mentors. Yes, I'm available for mentorship. My contacts can be shared.
Okay.
Yeah, for only mentorship.
And we can also find you online.
Yeah. And I'm online, by the way. I'm online. You can reach me on any of my social media handles. I'm everywhere, so I'm available.
Thank you, Fiona. And over to Proud Rotarian Professor.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Mentorship is an ongoing process. So for us, we do consultancy business, as you have heard. We do we handle quite large projects, UN projects, World Bank projects. The way you are reading that CV was really not good. It was very biased, very, very biased, because I do UN work, I do World Bank work, but also do work in Kisoro, we do work in Bulisa, I do a lot of work in Karamoja. We do, my mission is to deal with young people. Even when you come at our consulting firm, which is not far, it is in Wandegea here, is that you will not find there somebody above even 40. No. For me, the beauty is, and that's why I do very good work, is that the people who work with me in Riv Consult are the people I've taught at first at the university. So I know bright ones, I know people with a good attitude, and I will give you an example like Josephine Watera. She's now head of corporate in the parliament. I have people in New York, I have people in UNRWA, I have people everywhere. And Dorso Bachenga has been promoted as going to be the one in the speaker's office. He sent me a message yesterday thanking me. It's called Ruiz Bachenga. He was promoted about 3 days ago.
There you go.
To be in charge of managing the speaker. And Ruiz, Josephine, who's the head of corporate, for them, they were my students. I started mentoring them much early. I don't want to make a mistake, because for us we run a businesses which I don't want to be very proud here, but really which are very serious. As you have seen, the clientele, the clientele is UN, is World Bank, so I cannot send you to UK or to New York and you just mess up. And I go with them, some of them, to Nairobi, to Tanzania, to so on. Like now we are going to Abuja just within 4 days, to Geneva and so on. So what I do to them, and they will all tell you, is that I tell them that money, that's the first thing everybody will tell you who comes to Riv Consult, that money is first of all not important. What is important is to build your name and your brand. And your brand. And that money, if you look at that car I'm driving, or the house I'm living in, I don't live in a very good house. I do to Christ. Don't look at it. I'm very smart. They can clap for me. I came very, very smartly. But
you're happy to eat the katogo in one day.
But this UN, this is the headmaster. That UN work. I was in London. I was in Manchester. I had the groups in Leeds. I was in New York. I was in Amsterdam. It was a very serious project. I was mapping all your brothers and sisters what they are doing in Europe and North America. And I was able to say it is $1.7 billion. I was able to map it. Even came here, told the Bank of Uganda, we can create a diaspora bond like Nigerians have done and build the Karuma Dam without borrowing. But the boys who do this work and the girls, they are amazing. They are not old, Christo. They are not old. I tell them, build your brand. Be trustworthy. These cars we are driving, these houses we are, all these things are for you. I actually become their pastor. I'm like their pastor.
Yes.
These things are for you. Whom do you think are for? These things you are here, so please take your time, be dependable, like we say in Rotary, build your trust. And then I end by, just 1 second, I end by saying, we build 3, for purposes of finishing, I build their capabilities. That is for sure. And even if Rebecca Kadaga will call me and say, Professor, Josephine is very good. I have never got any negative part on that. Number 2, I say, apart from capabilities, I build your strategic fit. I don't want to leave this podium without talking about strategic fit. Strategic fit is that if professor didn't come, just listen to this. This is one you are going to take home. This is your take home headmaster. All the things I've said, this is your take home. What did the professor say here in NSSF this afternoon? Professor Nwagaba said that if he was not here, what would you miss? What would you miss? What would you miss if I didn't come? That is strategic fit. If Fiona didn't come, what would we miss? We would really have missed. My God. I'm a professor of economics, but the way I've learned here this afternoon, I have really added on my CV. So would have missed. Then lastly, I said that how I wish that all of you whom I have mentored, you work at Blue Ocean Strategic Positioning. That's how I end. And the Blue Ocean Strategic Positioning means, just listen, means operating beyond competition. Please, when I come to your national water and I ask Silva and Sylvia gave me, by the way, just for record, your boss gave me about 10 million on my project. I want to thank her as 10 million on my Rotary project. She gave me. Why did the deputy managing director who's in charge of finance give me 10 million
you're
cash?
dependable,
Because
you
of
have
the trust.
integrity.
She knows the person is giving them 10 million cash.
Okay.
My project is going to be in Kabuli. So I say, Blue Ocean Strategic Positioning, Crystal is, and I want you to take this message everywhere. Tell these youth and these children we work with that you can operate headmaster beyond competition. You can operate beyond the witchcraft. You can operate beyond the magic. You can operate beyond the stepmother. The stepmother bogey. You know, stepmother bogey. You don't do well in exam, it is a stepmother. You don't get a good husband, it is a stepmother. When you are the one who is very hopeless, you don't choose a husband. You don't choose a good wife, it is a stepmother. For me, even could you think anything good can never come from me? Anything good can never come from you. Finally, it is, as I'm a professor, let me speak and quote. And this is Lewis Oscar, 1965, oldest economic theory. I end by telling the mother, I said, that the development, Crystal, is initiated from within. Propulsion is one which comes from outside. Internal ignition is from within. Propulsion is from outside. Propulsion can never be from within.
So it starts
Neither
with
can
you.
internal ignition be from outside.
Thank you so much. Very quickly.
It's something I always say. From what we've said, at least if everybody forgets what I've said, build your identity. Know your values, be faithful to them, and to your brand. Be available to the people in your life that are important. That's very important. That's the most important investment. And be teachable. The fact that you've been online for 3 hours means that you're already investing in the greatest investment, which is adding knowledge to yourself. Education should leave you with an open mind that is hungry for learning. So be teachable. So be fat. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much, Fiona. Thank you, Professor Nwagaba, for your eloquence today, for sharing your personal experiences, and for just building, I think, our knowledge bank. And I think, inspiring all of us to go out and do something different. So I am just about to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that even as you start to earn more from multiple sources of income, you do not spend more. So live within your means, be humble, have integrity, be honest, be willing to work, and be willing to ask others. I think also mentors are available all around us. So you look for advice and find what works for you. So thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this discussion. Headmaster Sir, handing over.
Thank you so much. I need to take a note and make sure that the HR team is watching, the MD is watching. You guys make me look good, and it's the end of the financial year, so I'm going to be putting a special cushion and saying, guys, I look good. These guys make me look good. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fiona. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much, Crystal. There's things that have people are here saying stepmother, stepmother, stepmother. Stop it. So I feel branding, positioning, strategic fit. I mean, I know me, I'm taking home something, and at the end of this, when we are off the air, you are going to ask each one of the crew here if what they have taken. As NSSF, this is what we will do, and we have a program. It's under business clinics, and it's a mentorship program. We have a mentorship program. We are, and this, I apologize in advance for ambushing you, but we are blackmailing the 3 panelists here into 5 hours in 3 months, and these 5 hours can go to 5 of you. If you want an hour, go through NSSF. We shall fix you, each of you, an hour, and then just talk to any of them for 1 hour. What you do with that hour after that is up to you. But as NSSF, for us, we are blackmailing them into giving us 5 hours each in 3 months, and we can place you. Anne-Marie should be able to place her contact there. You can go through her, and then we can get you to them. You can also contact them directly. But what as NSSF we are trying to do is, let's also use our strategic fit to get them to you. But you can get to them directly. Thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much, Fiona. This has been amazing. Before we go out, there is only one last business homework. A book. Yes. A book that you would want to share with the audience, something that they should read. Your take home. I will start with the moderator this time. Crystal.
Remembered me.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, one book. I find that that's so difficult, but I will say one of the books that was amazing for me was Michelle Obama's Becoming. I read that recently, and so many of the values that have been discussed here, the integrity, the importance of, valuing your time, family, networks, the greater good. Those were so many concepts, so I really enjoyed that, and that would be the book that I'd like to share with you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Anything. One book you would want someone to read and you think they can pick out something.
I can pick 2 quick ones. One is Napoleon Hills. And I want everybody to, if you guys are really want to be very serious, Napoleon Hills is a very small book. The title is How to Sell Yourself Through Life. How to market yourself through life. And it is very tremendous. And one statement there is that this is Napoleon Hills talking. He's one of these big guys in the US. And Napoleon Hills is saying, I have made money, I have made friends. The way Fiona is talking with friends. I have built relationships, but all these things, I have failed to get happiness. That the only happiness, Napoleon Hills, it's a very small book. From Entebbe here to London, we have finished it. The only time he has been happy is when, Mr. Headmaster, he has made and rubbed the tears of the person, and that's the trophy that Napoleon has ever been happy with. But therefore, the trophies we get are the tears that we have wiped out from wiped out from the people, especially the vulnerable. But I've also written the books, and the one I've written is it's called Drivers of Economic Transformation, a toolkit for developing countries. It is by Augustus Nwagaba, and the book is simply saying that mindset change. It's not iron and steel. It's not iron and steel. It is not even a geographical positioning like Singapore or the geographical positioning. It is not iron and steel, Germany. It's not anything. As Tamari Mirundi says, it's just a mindset change. And also Patrick Bitatuli talks about myself, Patrick, Tamari Mirundi, and these days we have been added by other people.
Yeah, add me to that list. Thank you. Thank you.
So poverty, in other words, as Professor Nwagaba wants to leave this stage, is of the mind. It's not of money, it's not of goods. It's the reason why you are not happy, why you are going to continue not being happy. Those who want to get marriages which are not happy, is really because of your mindset.
Mindset.
Good mindset.
Mindset. Mindset. Not your stepmother.
And for purposes of record, I've succeeded in inserting it in program number 13 of the National Development Plan. It is program number 13, which is driving all the other 18 programs. I was the consultant for your National Development Plan and also East African Development Strategy. So I have told the President and the government, let's work on program number 13. You cram it, which is on mindset what? Change. Of Uganda.
Mindset. Fiona.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you, Apollo. Thank you, NSSF. When Apollo approached me, very emphatic no. I told him finance is not my, So I want to just say I am not an expert on finances. I'm still in the school, but this was so priceless for me. The book that has really inspired me in the last few years, actually just 2 years really, is Simon Sinek, Start With Why. You need to know what is driving you. You need to be inspired in order to inspire others. You cannot sell what you don't believe in. So read Start With Why by Simon Sinek for any person that wants to do a startup, any person that wants to even just public speech. Before you start your speech, what's the why? What's the one thing? If you want to be a transformational leader like Professor, what is that thing that makes you angry, that keeps you awake at night? That is probably where that's your money maker.
Exactly.
Or that is your brand maker. So Start With Why, Simon Sinek.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Family TV. Thank you, NSSF. Thank you, the live stream team. Thank you, the financial literacy team, which I happen to be part of. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much, President Wall. Thank you so much, Crystal Newman. I am happy to have been to know you, and now please know me. You know me, so that I added to that bit. But thank you so much. This has been a wonderful time. We overshot by 30 minutes. I'm seeing the numbers not going away. Everyone is staying online, but we need to bring this to a close. And yes, as NSSF, we'll try to do our best to bring you such conversations. Next week, next month, on the 21st of September, we are talking about intergenerational wealth transfer, wills and trusts. So we shall have another distinguished panel of land friends. Join us then. Until then, thank you so much and have a nice evening.